Swami Ramakrishna, did everybody get the question? Right. His question was, it has two sides to it. One, he is trying to ask that when there is liberation that happens or moksha that happens, does this individual soul merge into that supreme, or that all the Klingon effects that the jiva has or the soul has, they all go away? There is no cause for next birth or rebirth, and so they live in some kind of a whatever state, dev state, or wherever that swarga or wherever they stay, but they don't have another opportunity for birth and death kind of a situation. So what is it that happens? So that is the question. So the answer was that Ramakrishna Paramahansa gives a very beautiful story. He was a very narrator. He would attend a lot of plays, he would watch a lot of plays, and he was a narrator, good narrator of stories. So he develops this poor little doll, and the uniqueness of this doll was it was made of salt crystal. It was made of salt crystal. So if you have seen Saindhalavan or Kala Namak, they come in rocks. So it was something etched in a salt. It is a salt crystal, and very beautiful doll, but it was being unique, so it was always kept at different, kept aloof, kept nobody would interact. The children would never interact. If the children were to lay their hands on it, the parents would snatch it away, keep it aside. And so, disgusted with that kind of loneliness, they said, why am I created? Where did I come from? And then it started investigating. So in that investigation, various levels of investigation that it did, finally it came to a conclusion that there is something called a huge mass of waters called ocean, and these oceans are my source. That is where I come from. And then it made a elaborate journey towards that source. So it moved towards the ocean, and like people had described, that it was really vast from this end to the end of the horizon, if they had no end to it. And the waves were looking so inviting, and knowing that it was her home, it was the source from which it was created, it ran into the ocean. So once it runs into the ocean, what happens to the doll? Pani pani ho gaya. It merges. There is no more individuality left. It merges, meaning what? It becomes one with it, that the entire ocean is nothing but he himself. So there is no individuality anymore left. Now, referring back to your other part of the question, is what happens to the individuality? Is there a Swarga, Devaloka, or wherever? And so there is in ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we would be studying. There is this reference, if you want to write it down. Swarge loke kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. That you go to the Swarga Loka, and having gone to the Swarga Loka, how long do you stay there? As long as you have your punya points. You are given a visitor's visa, not even H1. You are just given a visitor's visa, or rather a tourist visa, and then you visit, and how long do you stay? As long as your bank accounts can hold you there. Right. So if your bank account, punya points in the account, however long they can allow you to stay there, and what do you enjoy there, that also depends on your punya points. So you expend those punya points, and after the punya points are done, what happens? You are kicked out from there. Martyalokam vishanti. I like the word that he used, kicked out of there. Vishanti. Visha is to kshepa, to throw. We don't want to leave. Who wants to leave Swarga in such a beautiful loka? We don't want to leave. But then the USCIS of the Swarga Loka, or the port of entry, what do you call them? Immigration officers. They throw you out. So these are called the Parshadas. So they make sure that you land. Where do you come back? Martya Lokam, meaning to the Bhuloka. Bhuloka, you come back again to be born. As long as that individuality exists, there is always a scope for you to come back. Now, there are those who have acquired so much of punya and very little papa, hardly any papa, and they don't have the scope for punarjanma. They don't have a scope for the next janma. So they go to the highest of the Swargaloka, which is called Brahmaloka. There, Brahmaji has 4 heads, right? So he is a quad processor unit. So in his quad processing unit, what does he do? With one head, he takes care of the Bhuloka, one head the upper worlds, and one head the lower worlds. The 4th head is not sleeping. The 4th head is catering to all those Punyavan who reach to the Brahmaloka, and there is 24/7 until Brahmaji's end. There is constant satsanga. Now my question to you is, would you want to get liberated here and now with one Sunday satsanga? Or do you want to go to Brahmaloka until Brahmaji's end, stay there in satsanga, and in Swargaloka there is no ashana pipasa, there is no hunger, thirst or tiredness. So neither Brahmaji is tired nor you are tired. Lage raho munna bhai. Okay. Having gone there still lies some vulnerabilities. There were these Vishnu Parshadas, you know the story. They were called Jaya and Vijaya. They were the purest of them, that they were working for Lord Vishnu himself. Having reached there, they do a small mistake, a triti, small one. But having reached there, even a small one is a big one. Cannot be ignored. So they get punished. Right from there, they become the lowest of the human form, which is the Asura Yoni. They are thrown into that Asura Yoni. In fact, they were thrown for eternity, but because of some high level pressure applied, there were some concessions issued. They said, okay, 3 lives. So the 3 lives, they were born as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Shishupala and Dantavakra. Dantavakra, do you know what it means? That our teeth are all well aligned. His was each one in different direction. Vakra Danta. So because in that yuga there was no Vajradanti. So both Shishupala and Danta Vakra, they both were killed and they went back to. There is another story of Nahusha. Nahusha becomes Indra, and the power gets into his head and he loses track of his balance, and then he becomes Shapagrasa, he becomes cursed to become a python in the Bhuloka. Directly from there, but then there is that vulnerability. If that vulnerability doesn't exist, 24/7 satsang. So therefore the better option is come Sunday, every Sunday. Is the advertisement clear? Okay. Your question is clear too. When does action account book open for a person? Very good coining of the question. I mean, what age or maturity level a kid does something innocently, is that accounted for? The account book of karma opens up right from the birth. That is why the jiva cries as soon as he is born. Arey, mera account shuru ho gaya. Until then, the account doesn't start. Though he is already there, the account doesn't start. As soon as the head pops out, the account has begun. There is a story in Ramayana that a thief steals something from a king's palace, and while escaping stashes it under a mendicant, a monk who was meditating under his ashram, or that little hut. The king's soldiers, they find it in his place, and they think that this fellow has ran away, he has changed his garment, now he is acting like one, because height and size and things look very similar, so they've profiled, so he fits the profile, so they picked him up, and they take him to the king, and he doesn't have an alibi. He doesn't have an alibi, and he's proven guilty. And as a punishment for whatever he has done, along with snatching, he has done minor crimes. So he is punished to be uh, crucified, or shula. Shula is like a spear. He is pierced from down all the way up. So he dies pretty soon, and he goes to Yamaloka. Yama's assistant, Chitragupta, is having an argument with him. He says, for the entire of my life, I have taken sannyas when I was probably 6-7 years old, and I lived about 80-90 years old. I have not done anything wrong. What I'm going to say may shock or scare many. The question demands the answer. So Chitragupta refers to him, says, really, you have done amazing deeds in your life. And he traces it back that when he was 3-4 years old, with other friends of his, there is this fly called dragonfly with a big tail. Sometimes when you're driving towards Houston, your windshield gets a lot of it. Remember those? They call dragonfly, right? So what he had done was he had detailed, like from the tail he had removed and made it hollow and pierced it with a straw, and played with, by tying a thread to it and playing with it. And that he had done to many dragonflies. And as a result of it, this punishment in that very life, because he had done so much of punya that there was no scope for him for another life. So that result had to be given to him in this very life. And that was meted out in this manner. Karma boomerangs. You do it innocently or insistently, it has its repercussions. Do it consciously or unconsciously, it has its effects. Our question was sacrifice animals. They cut open different animals in the name of research, and they give these medicines and test things on animals. It comes with its repercussions. So do enough punya that when the result of it is meted out on you, you'll have enough stability and courage to swallow the result of it. That's a good one. No tangential questions. No, I know. I said any question asked, don't ask further questions. That way it goes completely tangent of the. So, hey Ram. Then there is no, but okay, let me, we call this socket for a purpose. We have enough sockets to charge you up. Now, when you put your finger in the electric socket, what do you get as an experience? You get a divine experience, right? You get shocked. Supposing, and that you have done consciously, and whatever it will give you. Supposing you are sleeping and your hand falls on a live wire. You are unconscious, you're not doing it with any intentions there, right? Will the electricity say, Beta, dear fellow, I am a live wire. Don't mess with me. Haath hata de, hata. Remove your hand. I say remove it now. Does it give you an option? The moment your hand falls on it, you get the immediate effect of it. But I did not do it. I was not. What does the electricity say? Talk to the hand. Right? I think that should give you enough clarity into the. What are the basic lessons learned from Mahabharata? Pushpa ji. No, not yours. This is Pushpa. Pushpa ji. Yeah. Why? There are 100,000 shlokas and probably 100,000 messages to be learnt from Mahabharata. And now you put it that way, then it becomes easier for me. What do I learn from, or what do I think that the basic lessons learnt? I would see Mahabharata from this standpoint of learning. That each one of us in various contexts of life have to perform actions. Whatever the action that we perform, whenever we perform, it has an impact. It has its repercussions. There is no escape from it. Do you have the courage to take responsibility along with the results and take it, digest it with the depth of your spiritual growth or whatever, that you can look forward and do the best things in life that the situation is demanding? But we only learn from our mistakes. So whatever mistakes have been done, do the prayaschitta, whatever the life meets you out with, face it. Do you have the courage to grow up? Because two sets of examples, one is the Kaurava side and one is the Pandava side, both have done enough mistakes. And sometimes one person's mistake impacts everybody else. It was Yudhishthira's mistake, right? And everybody else faced it. But they did have the opportunity to stop Yudhishthira, which they did not do. Therefore, the rest of the Vanavasa and the Ajnatavasa, they did not dare tell Yudhishthira, this is all because of you. We sucked it up. We should have stopped you there. We should have corrected you there. We did not do our responsibility. And therefore, we get impacted. It is our responsibility to go through it also. So their mistakes, they accepted it and they showed the interest in changing themselves to a better course of life. Whereas Duryodhana never accepted the situation that he is in, always was a very grumpy kid growing up, and he would always do wrong things and blame everybody else for having put him in that position to do the wrong things. Therefore, the responsibility is of those who put him in that situation to forcing him to do the wrong things. It is their responsibility to face the consequences. Pretty convoluted. Which is what we also do. I am stuck here because of you. I am doing all this because of you. And things like that. So we are no better than Duryodhana. Do we have the courage? There was something that I hit personally, probably there. A home run. She was like laughing to herself. So do we have the courage to become the Pandava? Do we have the courage to become the Arjuna to change the course of our life? That is the message that I would take from Mahabharata. And for building that courage up, there is always Bhagavan, there is always God, and Vishnu Sahasranam and Mahabharata. It is from Mahabharata. You chant them to build that courage, to face life evenly. The most important message that I would pick from Mahabharata. Not satisfied? Yes, still thinking. Okay. Please explain the significance of streams in Hinduism, Shaivites and Vaishnavites. You mix them, what you get is a cross. You can play tic-tac-toe. No. 3 lines going this way and 3 lines going this way. You mix them, you get tic-tac-toe. My mind works differently, sorry. So what is the difference, or how do we understand Shaivism and Vaishnavism? There are 5 main streams. Traditionally, Shaiva, who worship Shiva. Vaishnava, those who worship Vishnu. Shakta, those who worship Shakti, Devi. Ganapatya, those who worship Ganeshji. Saurya, those who worship Surya Bhagavan. These are the 5 main streams. The purpose, or the way they would, or they have to, they don't necessarily do it, but the way it is given is, whichever is the form that you pick of these 5, it is the expression of Paramatma that you are worshipping. But then once that clarity is gone and there is fanatism that is born, wherein there are many shlokas of Bhagavad Gita which are interpreted saying all other gods are not worthy, worship only Krishna. That is how is the interpretation given. And sometimes in Vishnu Sahasranama there is Rudro Bahushira Babrur Vishwa Yonis Suchishravaha. Rudra is the name given to Vishnu also. And there are Vaishnavas who just skip chanting Rudra. I have seen them do it. Fanatism to the highest disorder. And they go on to a public statement making that only those who have not earned enough punya worship gods like Shiva and others. Only those who have punya worship Vishnu. That is animosity in the form of fanatism. What toothpaste do you use? At this moment, what are Aquafresh? What do you use? Colgate. Aquafresh. Crest. Aquafresh. Colgate. No Vajradantis? Cha. हाँ Vico Vajradanti. हाँ, thank you sir. Vico Vajradanti. So when you when you go out into the market, there are various brands available for various reasons. There is one which is sold for sensitive teeth. Oh, very good. So you use that for that specific, for tartar, for plaque, for various things. There is a specific targeted toothpaste available. It is not to be compared that one is greater than the others. That is how the marketing is done. One shows entire clock of 24 hours. There is blue light of freshness, and suddenly it starts becoming yellow in the others. That is how they market it. The point is, you cannot take it to a fanatical standpoint. Do you find the utility, you use it at that point and move forward. Okay. Now another example. When the child says, "My mommy is the greatest," what does the child mean? Is it a comparative statement being made? That all other moms are yucky, my mom is the greatest. What's that? No, I didn't hear it. Can you say it? Oh, then it changes. All other moms are the best, my mom is the yuckiest. So when the child makes a statement saying that my mommy is the best, what does the child mean? Is it a comparative statement? Is it a fanatical statement? A devotee has a right to say that my God is the greatest. But when the devotee is making that statement, it is not to be misunderstood by the rest of them saying that the other gods are not worth it. And this I'm talking only with reference to Hinduism. Now add the layers of Abrahamic religions, the pagan religions, and the shamans, and all other belief system. It is never from the standpoint ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. There is one truth, and it is named differently. The water can be called aqua, it can be called Nilu, Niru, Tanni. Sometimes you don't, if you understand it in a different language, it is hilarious. Tanni in Telugu means to kick. In Tamil means water. Vellam, Jal, various languages, but you are referring to the same thing. The nomenclature doesn't matter. The shape or form of bottle or what it is contained in doesn't matter. This is equally a water, and that which is in this is equally waters. No, I like it in this shape and not, that is your problem. What is being given is water alone. God in different forms is still God. The fanaticism has to be, it is based out of misunderstanding. And there have been enough life lost on that fanaticism basis. But essentially what you are worshipping is that God alone. I hope I have given you an elaborate. You still have a question on that? So nowhere they have anywhere any the significance of why those rituals are it's just man-made. No, I'm not saying it is man-made. Hey Ram, ऐसा कुछ लगा कि man-made. The fanaticism is man-made. Each one of these different aspects of God, they're running different departments. Like you have an organization, there are different departments in the organization. Like even in Chinmaya Mission, like I am the CCMT representative. She is the secretary, the boss. I didn't say it, she said it, okay. She is the boss. And many of us from the AV room, we often tease her with the salutations. It's a tease only. So she is the secretary. There is a president. There are different job descriptions, job roles. Each one comes with certain responsibilities, rules, and jurisdiction, and some powers given. Similarly, that Paramatma, when he takes these different duties, when he becomes the creator, he is called Brahma. When he becomes the maintenance in charge, he is Vishnu. When he has to recycle everything, he is called Shiva. When he has to remove the obstacles, he is called Ganesha. So different jobs given. It's the same Paramatma playing different roles. When you are with your children, what are you? A mother. When you're with your sister, you're a sister. When you are with your parents, when you're with your grandparents, when you're with your husband, somebody said miserable. But you get the point. You are the one, the only one. But with reference to who is invoking what from you, you become that. When the child comes, the child invokes the mother in you. When the husband comes, invokes the misery in you. Right? Get the point. So these are given in the Vedas. But the fanatism, wherein to sustain the division and to say that that division alone is the greatest, that is man-made. That's why on our altar we have wholesale, everybody in there. How do we control our ego so that it doesn't overpower us? I have two more questions. Can we take it to the next class? Okay. Next week also seems to be question answers. So if you have any further questions, that which you did not form, please can ask that question also. Can somebody hold this for me? Hold the questions for me. आपको भी आना पड़ेगा. Okay, so you're there. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.